Hejim tafe deja I, exotas gos vaskrar baitik, en pajaj la mojaj push, jaj keles molo nichoch chu u.
Kapla, warriors, join me and let us revel in this past week's glory. I am Wamesh Wetch, warrior of Sto'vo'kor, and these are my brothers in arms.
I am Garp, warrior of Sto'vo'kor.
I am Korrath, also a warrior of Sto'vo'kor.
This past week, Zonerie recorded my great deeds into song. It's called Sub-Puvas, Hall of Heroes. It tells of my glorious deeds in sending to Grethor, one of the Empire's greatest war criminals, the Romulan commander, Damayak Jela.
Cold-hearted serpent of a villain.
Jela is the cowardly Romulan that ordered the attack on Naranda. Then this spineless Patak ordered the attack on Khitomer, which resulted in 4,000 Klingon deaths. He preys on women and children. He is without honor.
The Romulans have earned our distrust for good reason, Patak that they are.
Where did you find this Chotwi?
Intelligence reports indicated that there was a hidden Romulan base in the Vor system in the Pycanis sector. A cloaked bird of prey hid in the system for weeks, monitoring all subspace communiques. When the crew of the Hoshrak learned that Jela was there, they returned to Kronos to report their findings to the Council. Chancellor Jempak chose me to lead the mission. He sent a small fleet to assist me in capturing this Cheshwir and bring him before the council to stand trial.
A mighty compliment indeed.
What an honor.
When we reached the Vor system, I ordered the fleet to wait outside to capture or destroy any fleeing ships. Our scans detected a Romulan star base in orbit of Vor 3. As we approached in my mighty Vokuv carrier, the base's defense turrets came online, and we were surrounded by decloaking Romulan warbirds. There must have been 20 warbirds and over 100 turrets.
Surely they brought more than that to the fight. So few against a single Klingon warrior is unfair.
It's true. For a breath of a moment, I considered calling the fleet to aid me, but that would allow the Cheshwir an opportunity to escape. I cried out, "It is a good day to die." We launched all of our fighters and birds of prey. We were going to send the Romulans to Grethor or gain passage to Sto'vo'kor.
That should be the goal of every Klingon warrior who's ever drawn breath. Yeah. Kapla, wa, me, wesh.
A glorious battle ensued.
Do tell, brother.
Many of my warriors fell in battle. They died with honor and reside in the afterlife. We were victorious in eliminating the station's defenses. Grethor is now overflowing with the cries of these Romulan dogs. I led a small squad of noble warriors into the base. The room was filled with steam and noxious gases. Our eyes and lungs burned from the fumes. No sooner were we aboard the station when a patrol happened upon us. My blade struck swift and sure, and sent more of their unworthy souls to suffer in the fires of Grethor.
And I'm sure Theklir welcomed them in a manner suitable for dishonorable Romulan cowards. Ha 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 ha!
My science officer informed me that there were Thaleron readings producing unusual amounts of power for a station of its size. We sought a council to find out what they were doing here and where all this gauy steam was coming from. After dispatching another guard patrol, we found a council for my science officer. I ordered her, "Speak, lest I send you back to the brothel from which I found you."
Brothel? From Muffin's House of Pleasure on Wahe in May?
She turned over her tricorder to me. I stared at it. "Baka! This Cheshwi is developing a nanovirus. They are creating Romulan-controlled drones with Borg technology to beset their enemies. We could not let this go unchallenged. In Romulan hands, such a weapon would be the bane of the galaxy.
Romulans. They will be the death of us all.
Fate came close to killing them all for us. Too bad it missed.
We delved deeper into this pit of Kosari vipers until we located the auxiliary lab. It was filled with horrors that would give any Dahar master nightmares. There was equipment everywhere. Consoles and generators, tubes and cages, and half-Borg things. This is where they practiced their dark science, and we were seeing their experiments failed and otherwise.
Besh, evil wears a Romulan face.
I grabbed a technician and demanded that he tell me where the Thalaron generator and Jayla were. The Romulan was so frightened that he could not even speak. He gestured to the adjacent lab and slumped to the ground as I snapped his neck.
Weak-spined Capet.
They do snap too easily, like twigs in a windstorm.
A dozen squads of Romulans stood between us and our goals. I contacted my carrier to transport additional troops to deal with them. My warriors sent more Romulans to the fires of Grethor and secured their place in Sto'vo'kor. Another barrel of blood wine for my crew. Today, they fought with honor and brought glory to the Empire.
Where's my blood wine?
Yeah, blood wine!
Ah! Kapla! More blood wine!
Now, where was I? Yes. The base's security forces were now on full alert. The bulkhead to the lab has been sealed shut. We had to move quickly before the Cheshwi could flee like a thief into the night. I called for more warriors to battle the Romulan Charkibash as my crew disabled the Thalaron generator. Disruptor fire overhead, blades gleaming in the light. The smell of charred flesh and the sound of Bakanite steel when it connected with Romulan flesh filled the air. This is what it means to be Klingon. After the battle, we stood ankle deep in Romulan blood.
I hear it's good for the leather parts of one's boots.
My crew set explosives to the bulkhead door to remove the obstacle that stood between us and the lab. We entered a long, dark corridor. This part of the facility was different. It wasn't like the rest of the Romulans stationed. It seemed more like a Borg vessel. Then we saw them. I cannot say for sure what they were, but they stood between us and our quarry. Jayla gestured to them. The Romulan drones raised their rifles at us and opened fire. I raised my bat'leth and cried out, "For the Empire!" as we charged into the final laboratory.
Romulans, they couldn't hit a planet from orbit.
They most likely wet themselves on seeing so many Klingon warriors.
When the last drone fell, we surrounded Jayla. But something wasn't right. It was another Romulan ruse. A hologram! One of my officers detected a signal and triangulated it to a cloaked ship in orbit. I ordered the station to be raised. My warriors set tricobalt charges throughout the base, and we returned to my ship. When the Romulan station exploded, it was a glorious sight that could be seen all the way from Sto'vo'kor. Jayla hailed my ship to gloat his cunning. Hate filled my eyes as I gazed into his. I swore that he would not escape, and nodded to my communications officer. She signaled the fleet to close in on our quarry. Jayla had no choice but to surrender or die.
I hate that. Interrupts my concentration to fires.
Romulan reinforcements decloaked all around us. It was a battle he wanted. All attack wings were launched, and we focused all weapons on the warbird. Several Romulan escorts broke from the main fleet to defend their commander from the hell my carrier unleashed on them. Their escorts swarmed us. Our shields began to buckle. Hull breaches and plasma fires broke out all over the ship. Then our engines and weapons arrays began to falter. I cried out, "Transfer life support to weapons and prepare for weapons overload. Give me manual control." I lined up the warbird in my crosshairs, my heart beating in time as my crew sang, "Koi Kales Puk Lod." I bore down on the controls and unleashed everything we had. I proclaimed proudly, "I will go to Sto'vo'kor, but not this day." The warbird exploded and we passed through its debris field. We scanned for survivors, but there were none. Made the Mike-Chila burn in Grethor for all eternity.
Ha ha ha! A tale worthy of song and poem. I doubt they will soon forget what it means to fight Klingon.
If you wish to reach the warriors of Sto'vo'kor, hail us at host@gatesofsto'vo'kor.com.
Have you seen my new boots? The Ferengi said they were rattlesnake, but I swear I know that tattoo.
Koi Keles Puk Lod, Koi Pupek Pu, Yakbo Mapo Jeshui, Sema Chume U, Masud Manong, and Marshal Chu, Nevayan March of War Ku, but my children's Eljo Pish, my Fam Pumadim, correct, but you talk to my Delco, what you talk, Mao.